Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to Planet Marzipan, the Fish and Marillion podcast. I'm Mezza, and here's my mate.
Craig Houston.
Hello, and welcome to Planet Marzipan. I'm Mezza. I'm here with my good friend
Craig.
Craig. Which day today?
Yeah, Faye's been around a lot these last few episodes, and again, it's all that bloody Barnes' fault, isn't it?
Well, more on that in a minute. As you can see from the title of the episode, we're here to discuss All One Tonight and the first Royal Albert Hall gig. Sorry, Lucy will tell me off. And we have guests. We have returning guests in Nathan Page.
Evening, gents.
Hello. Andrew Barnsley Wood.
Hello there.
Gary Page, just to make it even more difficult. Hi, Gary.
Hello, everybody.
Hiya. And just to add that extra bit of confusion, another Gary joins us, Gary Uzzell. Welcome, Gary.
Hello.
Hello. Just for the purposes of the podcast, we're going to call Gary Uzzell Guz, because that's easier. That's all right, isn't it, Gary?
Makes sense, absolutely.
Okay. You may know Gary from gigs or from online, and he's a long-term Marillion fan. But because it's his first time on the pod, before we discuss anything else, we get to ask him how he first got into Marillion.
Wow. I had some friends. We used to go to a lot of the early gigs, basically. So some friends down the road, and we used to go to a lot of the early gigs, basically. So I used to tag along with them, basically, and I just see this band, and it just flowed from there, to be honest. So you go to this is sort of 82, 83, then one thing led to another, and then you sort of Hammersmith 83. I was at one of the gigs. I wasn't at the final gig, but I was at one of the gigs. But I'd have to go through my tickets and find out which one. But yeah, it was. Then the rest is history, as they say.
So what, you bought the albums from the beginning?
Yeah, there used to be a really good indie record shop in Swindon called Red Carpet Records, and I bought so much prog from them, basically. So I remember seeing Live at the Target in their shop, basically, and I bought that just on the sleeve, and Live and Let Live.
Yeah.
But and I bought that just on the sleeve, and that still to this day is one of my favorite live albums.
Yeah, it's a great album. Craig can tell you all about that.
And
In another parallel universe, you could.
Craig doesn't know anything about 12th Night, no.
And Andy Ravel is still one of my guitar heroes.
Yeah, yeah.
And a quick side story: when they did the Barbican thing, I got to meet him at the after party, and it's one of the only times I've ever been starstruck.
Right. I've never seen you lost for words, Gus. So
no, the second time I got starstruck was, it's Marillion related. It was Cropredy, when I think Marillion were playing, and there was a female actor on there, basically, and the female act was married to Harry Shearer.
Right, yeah.
From The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And
Harry Spinal Tap.
Against Alan's brother.
Alan's brother, yeah, Alan. And I just happened to be walking. I was at the top of the field. If you know Cropredy, basically, it's like a mini amphitheatre. I was at the top of the field, and I was walking down on the left-hand side where the bar is, and I saw him walking towards me, and I thought, oh my God, it's Harry Shearer, and it's the only time I've ever been starstruck, and it was just like, oh, hello, how are you? And it was just like, and we got talking for about, it seemed like forever, but it probably was only 2 or 3 minutes. And he was just like, "No, are you enjoying the festival?" And I said, yeah. I said, "I love all your work." He says, he said to me, "What's your favourite film that we've done?" And he was expecting me to say Tap, but I said the dog show one, Best in Show,
Best in
Best in
Show.
Show,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
brilliant.
which
Brilliant.
is just absolute genius.
Really good. Yeah.
And it's just ripping the Michael out of Crafts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just a work of absolute genius. I'm a bit skeptical about Spinal Tap 2, to be honest, because it's going to be interesting.
Well, there's a lot to live up to, isn't there, really? But we'll see. We'll see.
There's
Yeah,
40 years of history. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for that. So that's
You're
how you got
welcome.
into the band and a lot more besides. But welcome to the pod, Gus. We've been trying to get you on for a while
Oh,
and
bless
we've
you.
finally got our diaries aligned. But we are here to talk about Friday, the 13th of October, 2017.
In South Kensington Working Men's Club.
Oh, yes.
Ah,
Tickets are being flashed on screen already, listeners. The gig, the first Albert Hall gig by Royal Albert. I've got to stop doing that because Lucy doesn't like me doing that. The first Royal Albert Hall gig by our heroes Marillion. It was announced in November 2016. Any memories about the excitement, about the announcement, or anything like that?
I remember going, oh my God, we're never going to get bloody tickets.
Yeah.
And the whole kind of like military operation to try to figure out how we're going to get tickets because the new found well it was going to fly.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, yeah. I was quite lucky because I got a very, very good friend that you might know. You know David Taylor from Abingdon, guys.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And Dave's got he's got a members thing at the Albert Hall basically, so he can get in there like a day before they go on pre-sale or whatever. So he phoned me up and he said, "You heard that Marillion are doing the Albert Hall?" He says, "Do you want a ticket?" And I said, "Well, if you're buying." Well, I'd love one. So he's the one that got me the ticket.
Yeah.
So and I'll be obviously forever grateful to Dave for that. If it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't have gone, to be honest. But yeah, it was a cracking night.
Yeah. Well, I know Nathan's got a story, but I'm going to jump to Barnes. How do you get your tickets, Barnes?
Well, I was more thinking before that because I was trying to remember. There was a slight rumor in the air about 6 months before. Were you part of that rumor? Possibly.
What, you mean, did I contribute to it?
Well, I didn't mean that. But you probably did. But anyway, I sort of think there was a bit of a rumor in the air, wasn't before it was
I
formally
think it'd been
announced.
talked about for a few years, hadn't it?
Yeah.
Greg was part of it, apparently. I mean, if
Couldn't
you
possibly
believe
comment.
Craig, they're going back there to play Brave with an orchestra. But I don't know when that is.
Kazoo.
Yeah, well, that's a special rendition by itself. That's already booked in for Leicester.
It is already booked in, actually.
Well, I think if Candor Craig can do it, the original Craig can do it. So come on.
Let's make it happen.
Nathan, you were lucky enough to be sat on the front row on the Friday the 13th of October, weren't you?
Yes, I was. So effectively, somewhere online it said that tickets will be on sale in person. So it was the day after the London Fair gig, end of the UK tour. Luke and I turned up at the Albert Hall to be told, no, we're not going to sell you any. And Luke convinced them that actually they probably should sell us some. And so they did. They told
That
us.
doesn't sound like Luke at all.
No,
Not
it
at all,
doesn't.
no,
It
yeah.
doesn't.
Who
You
are
know
we
him
talking
totally
about
does
there?
not sell like Luke.
Just shy in
And
retirement.
effectively, they sold us 6 tickets. So we shared the front row with Carla and JC from the Web Portugal and the aforementioned Mr. Mike Barton, occasionally of this pod.
And his lovely
Like
wife,
this parish.
Eleanor.
I do remember on the night coming up and seeing you, Nathan, having a chat because I hadn't seen you for ages, and I wandered up and down the front row, seeing all usual suspects.
Yes, my other abiding memory is the day after the tickets got on sale. We'd gone out to I got out to Utrecht to see the boys play there, and effectively Lucy was just running around, just kept shouting 4 minutes to anybody that would actually listen to her, which obviously was quite a lot of people. She was a little bit happy.
Okay. Well,
Imagine.
Craig, I'm going to come to Gary in a minute because Gary P's got another story about tickets. But the background to that story is that I think I've told it in one of these Fear episodes, actually, Craig. Did I tell it in the last episode?
You mentioned about.
Forgive me
David
if you've
Ibbott.
heard this already, but one of our friends, David Ibbott, knew the general manager of the Royal Albert Hall, who, I'm using the inverted commas, promised him to get him some tickets. So I think we were after 10. Was it 10 tickets?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
So the idea was we wouldn't buy tickets when they went on sale, and David would sort us out 10 tickets.
But knowing John as we do,
Not that I didn't trusted David. I bought
Little
myself a
Mr.
ticket
Backup
when they
plan.
went on sale in the 10th row on the floor, just in case it didn't come through. But
it was every man for himself.
no. David's friend did come through, and you got 10 tickets together, didn't you? In the, I don't know what the area is called. Is it? It's not the circle, is it? The
It was the one behind the bit behind
it's not
the
log
arena.
year, is it? I don't know what it's
The
called.
choir.
Right.
Is it
Hang
quiet?
on.
Don't know. Gary will tell you.
It just says stalls. It doesn't say anything about
You
where
were
we
in the
were.
raised bit, weren't you? The back of the
Yeah,
stalls
yeah.
there,
So
yeah.
it's the raised stalls.
Right opposite
Um,
the band.
Yeah.
And because I'd bought a ticket in the 10th row, I'll let you finish the story, Gary.
Well, I must have been in some kind of flux at the time because I think Shell was pregnant with my now 7-year-old child, and I don't know why I didn't get a ticket. Maybe I panicked and saw the mass. Was it 4 minutes? You say, Nathan?
Yeah, apparently.
It was.
I would have been thinking about that time and being a father and thinking when that gig comes around, who knows what will be will be. So I didn't get a ticket. Did we go to a convention before? We were talking about the gig. I can't remember. But anyway,
I don't think we went after. I think the conventions came after that, didn't they?
yeah, I can't. My memory's terrible. But Craig obviously said Mezza's got a spare ticket. Would you want it? I was like, of course I do.
Yeah,
So
silly question.
I'm forever, obviously, forever grateful. But the funny thing was, I met you all in London, and literally an hour before the gig, you were like, I don't really know what to do. Where I'm going to sit with my friends or just ditch you all and sit in the front.
And what
So I
did I
was like,
do, Gary?
Well, wherever I'm happy wherever. But it was great, yeah. And then thanks, John, for that. It was just
No, don't be daft. I'm really glad you were there.
yeah.
And poor Gary got stuck next to me.
Where were you
Made
sat,
it.
Barnes? Where were you sat?
We were quite high up. I booked tickets at the exact same time within that 4 minute window, obviously. And by the time I'd faffed around, I think we went for the Royal Box, and then clearly didn't get it. So I was like on the second minute. I'm going, shit, better get something. And we were. If you look at the album cover, you might be able to see the back of my head. You can't find it by searching it, but I was probably, on the row below where the album cover photograph was taken. So
right.
Second tier up. But Bank Centre looking across.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement about it, and people travelled from all over the world, didn't they, for this gig?
They did.
A lot of European fans came in.
If I could name drop a couple of people, John, I met the night before. I met Mark from Florida and Simon from Toronto in a pub in Kensington, and they were coming over. Says, "I'll tell you what, guys, I'll meet you beforehand." So we had a bit of a chin wag the night before. So that was sort of how wasn't technically a weekend, but if we pretend it was a weekend, that's how my weekend started. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And everybody, got into the sort of sense of occasion, didn't they? I know, Barnsley, you bought a red carpet.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, all the way from the Amazon, that came. Yeah, £4. I think it was at the time £4.50, but it's now gone up to £6 something. I think now, so that's inflation for you.
That's Brexit.
For you.
Yeah, I did write down all the specifications of it, but I can't remember. But it was about, I don't know, sort of 15 foot long or something, wasn't it? Something like that, and just made out of absolute red paper. There's no better way of saying it. It's a roll of red paper. Although on the photos, it looks sort of quite good, I thought.
Looks all right, yeah, it looks all right. So you welcomed people when they came. Which pub were you in? You were in one of the pubs.
Well, we're starting our normal place, which is the Parcel Yard, which is sort of the gateway to London at King's Cross Station.
Cross, yeah.
So, yeah, and sort of had a couple of hours in there, maybe a couple more actually. And then we sort of, at that point, went and checked into our numerous travel taverns, which we sort of messed up on, before getting to Kensington for about, 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish, something like that.
That photograph of you, John, walking down the red carpet is still one of my favourite photographs ever.
I think it's frightening, mate. I'm sorry.
Because it's just genius.
Yeah, I was on one that day. We were sort of dragging him out of the crowd. Do you remember? Hey, here's another one.
I think we've all got a
Very
photo
silence.
of the
Everybody
red
giving all the clapping as they're coming in. When
Yeah, it was good, and I think people Well, like I say, it was a special occasion, wasn't it? Everyone was up for it. Nobody wanted the band to fail. We'd all
That
waited for this moment.
yeah.
I
Um,
was thinking about it.
That's the thing with it, basically. I it's I was working that day on that front, and I managed to blag an hour and a half off work so I could jump on the 5 o'clock train. And on my day off, I managed to nip into town and get myself a really nice posh pair of shiny shoes because it's the Albert Hall.
yeah.
And I got myself a nice clean white shirt, and I bought myself one of those clip-on dicky bows.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was on the train, so trying to put the dicky bow on, trying to clip it on, and as it happened, all the trains were just spot on. Basically, there was no delays, and I was thinking, yeah, this is going to be a good night. And as I was on the train, you were just thinking to yourself, this is the Albert Hall. I just don't want marked keyboards to fuck up. Just please be this one night where everything just works perfectly. And as it turned out, it was just the best thing ever.
I was thinking about it today. Just I think that the thing that was special about it is obviously we're all pretty close to them. Some more close than others. Um, but it was just we love them obviously, and just thinking about those gigs in the '90s and some of the places that we've seen them.
Oh my
Redcar, Redcar.
Leeds cockpit.
Yeah, the cockpit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just thinking, not that they've made it. Obviously, they're Marillion, but it was just special for that reason, really, that they've finally playing the Albert Hall after all these
Agreed,
years.
agreed.
Yeah, yeah, because it's not exactly one of the biggest gigs they've ever done.
No.
Far from it, but it was definitely special.
Ironically, Fish played there in 1990, didn't he?
He
Yeah, it
did.
was the last gig on the Vigil tour, which
Yeah.
he really didn't like.
Well, yeah.
'Cause that's when he
That was
found
the
out
point
he'd
where
been
EMI had
struck.
taken all the money away, and they had all the
Yeah,
support. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
She
I
does
think I
discuss in
think
some depth in the Vigil box.
yeah, I think the
Yeah.
rider was probably swiped as well.
Mm.
EMI go,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll have
it's
that back.
kind of doing it as well. Well, we know they do it on their own, but yeah, with no EMI support or seemingly a band to all my friends that don't exist or they're a different band completely. To play the Albert Hall when I told them that they were playing the Albert Hall, they were what?
Well, I think
Brilliant.
Lucy
It was
talked about it in the previous episode. They couldn't really get in because the Albert Hall only deals with big promoters, so they wouldn't allow them to book a gig.
no
So once they hooked up with what's the promoter name?
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro, beg your pardon, yes. Once they hooked up with Kilimanjaro, the gigs went up a level and they got access to the Albert Hall. So, and we're all getting, well, I'll speak for myself, we're all getting a bit older. So a seat in a gig isn't a bad thing anymore.
Well,
All right, all right, all right.
That's contentious, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. But the band are obviously taking it very seriously because they got some proper musicians in with them, didn't they?
Yes.
see what
Yes,
you've done
they
there,
did.
John.
I say yes. But also they'd put some gigs in with the orchestral players and the run up to the Albert Hall, haven't they, Nathan? Because you saw the Paris gig, didn't you?
I did. So the Paris gig was the first time they'd come out with the musicians. So I think the tour started a week or so before, potentially in Rome. I think it was an Italian date definitely, and then by the time they got to Paris on Saturday, the 7th of October, that was the first night with the proper musicians, as it were. It is still my favourite Marillion gig ever. There's anything Paris is slightly bigger than the Albert Hall. I think it holds 7,000 ish. And it's really obvious why they say Paris and Marillion go really well together. And in Paris, we also got Invisible Man, which we didn't get in London. So it was quite a long gig.
Was that with the orchestra? Was it with the orchestral players?
No. From memory, that wasn't with the orchestra. Everything
Right.
we got in London with the orchestra was played in Paris with the orchestra. There was no extras.
Yeah, yeah. And what have you? I mean, we'll talk in a minute about the set list, but any views on them playing the Hall of Fear?
For me personally, I thought it was a good move in the respect of we'd had the UK Fair Tour at the end of 2016. They'd then come into the 2017 weekends and done 4 or 5 where they played the album on the Saturday night. So by the time they got to the Albert Hall, them playing the album was almost second nature. I think they felt quite comfortable with the material. It was a well-oiled machine. It wasn't anything new they were having to learn at short notice.
No, I agree with Nathan. Yeah, I couldn't have put it better, mate. Couldn't have put it better. It was it just worked and flowed seamlessly the first half.
I have a feeling that they did that because they'd obviously got screen media for all the first half as well there. So it meant less work to prepare for the screen for the second half because all the
point.
first half was in place. And they'd not really got a recorded version of Fear live
in its entirety from
in its
start to finish.
entirety.
Yeah.
So it kind of killed two birds with one stone. I know from the comments that we've read online that some people didn't like that, thought it was a bit of a missed opportunity, but I'm sure we'll talk about that shortly.
But don't you think it was the obvious thing to do?
I think it was quite a brave thing to do. It could have gone the other way and just played it better, like a greatest hits, the end of Marillion sort of show, couldn't it? But they sort of just played the current stuff, which I thought was quite cool, actually.
Yeah,
Could have gone the other way and played Brave.
No, God, no.
No, give them time.
Definitely in my top 20 albums. I've always said that. Definitely in the top 20.
I didn't think it was at the time. I just went with it. I don't know. Maybe we are. Well, we're fanboys, aren't we? But it was just it just fitted so well, and it didn't seem weird either. It was just it just seemed to work in that room and with the strings. It was I thought it was perfect.
I think in hindsight, it makes the second half of the show. It goes up a level.
Yeah.
And that's not to do Fear down, but we got Fear and then we got the beginning of the second half, which we will talk about in a minute, but that just took it, to another level. Nate?
But also, I think it's a statement of intent from them saying, actually, we're not a band that looks backwards particularly.
Yeah.
This is who we are now. We're not coming into this as Marillion's greatest hits. We're coming into this as we are Marillion in 2017. This is what we're about. It's very much a statement of actually we're looking forwards, not backwards with our career. Even though we're 35 years in, we are still looking forwards.
Yeah.
But also with the kind of audience that there were, I don't think you could probably count on one hand the amount of people who were there who didn't know current Marillion material. It wasn't like a general gig. It was sold out so fast because all the hardcores, everybody who were desperate to be there, were there. And it wasn't just a casual, it wasn't like a casual fan thing or casual, let's just see what Marillion are up against. They would have had to have been there within the first 4 minutes to get a chance of actually being there. So they had not saying it was anything like shooting fish in the barrel, but it was, they could dictate what the mood was going to be, what the set list was going to be, and know very well that it was going to go down well.
Good point.
Yeah. I mean, have you all had a chance to rewatch the show recently?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not recently, but saying that I only have 2 constant DVDs that when I do put them on, I have to watch them all the way through. The Marillion Royal Albert Hall is the other is one of them, and the other one is Growing Up by Peter Gabriel from the Milan. I just have to watch that all the way through, and same with the Marillion from start to finish.
So anything else about the evening itself before the gig? So in the pubs beforehand or approaching the Albert Hall, any other sort of observations or comments?
Every time I go in the Albert Hall, I just think it's too posh for the likes of us.
Lance?
I think if I remember correctly, I don't know the exact number, but it was probably 150, 200-ish. Hawaiian plastic lays also came from the Amazon that trip. And I remember, and I managed to get every bugger in them. It's like, here you go, you're wearing that. And like on all the photos, everyone's wearing these stupid bloody plastic things. And also on the video, when everyone stands up, and it looks like they've all gone to see, I don't know, what's it called? No. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, really good. There was a really good atmosphere. I mean, we'd gone down to London in the morning, so we had something to eat in the afternoon, and
Did we
just
we
made,
stayed in Euston, didn't we?
we did. We weren't
Yeah,
too
very
far
different.
away, yeah. And
I
we
met
were
you in
in
Earl's Court, didn't we? Then did we? Did I meet you in Earl's Court? We did. Then we just
Yeah,
walked from
yeah,
there.
Red when I was caught, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
But
that was
yeah,
nice. It was a nice evening, and we were all having a walk, having a chat. Like it was really, yeah, it was just really nice. Just walking to the Albert Hall.
and as you got closer, I think we saw some other fans and
We
people we
did, yeah.
knew, and yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, the documentary on the Blu-ray is really good. With the band arriving, and I think Mark Kelly says he's very nervous, and yeah, and Ian just wants a cup of coffee. Sounds about right.
True.
Cup of coffee and a
Um,
fag.
yeah, but so we went in, found our seats. I wasn't sat nowhere near my friends. We've covered that one. We don't need to go there again.
Splitter.
Bought our programs.
Do you get a program?
Copyright. Yeah, Mark Kennedy designed a
Oh, God.
program. You've
Sorry,
got
Mark.
one.
I'm sorry, I missed out on that, Mark. I do apologise.
Oh dear.
I'd have lost
him
it
up for
anyway.
one.
I'd have lost it anyway.
Go in and
went
get one. Tap him up for one.
It went in the sale on Racket. You missed it.
All right, yeah, pass me by that one. I had the t-shirt. The t-shirts were on sale about a week,
Well,
was it 2 weeks before, weren't they, or something?
yeah, the Racket sold the t-shirts and the polo shirts themselves, so they didn't have to
Yeah.
pay huge wadge of cash to the
Yeah.
Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah,
Um,
good
Clever
idea.
move. Clever move.
Yeah, yeah. And then we sat down, and the lights went down for the first half. And
One bit you have missed out, John, is the you probably the bit you'll get into is the finger lights.
well, that's in the second half, Gus.
Yeah, but I was
They were on the
Don't
seats. So
don't
they
shoot
were-
your load,
yeah.
mate. Don't
No,
shoot
but
your
I
load.
was thinking the organisation of the finger lights as you went into the Albert Hall, all the ushers.
Well, that kind of gives away what we're going to talk about in the second half, doesn't it?
Oh,
Oh, I've remembered something about the ushers at that gig. Craig, do you remember? They were like on everybody, weren't they? Like as soon as you were going to your pocket, it was like they're on you. Like
What a program.
you were going to
What a
take
program.
pictures and evidence, and yeah, it was they good on them. They were on their job.
Oh, well, you're not allowed to take photos.
No, there was some. Am I right? There was definitely some kind of
You might be right. I mean,
yeah. There was
in the middle of a
where
row.
we were. They were definitely telling people like walking down into the arena when someone got their phone out. And
Yeah.
that
I
was
think it might have been a bit of a
before-
Phil Brown as well. Phil didn't make mention it, did he? So they
I
must
don't
have
think
done
he
it.
did. No.
Yeah, I think there was
But
like there was a communication or something. If I'm
Gus is right. There were certain people thrusting plastic bags in your hand, little plastic bags with things in them, which we will talk about in the
Sorry,
second half of
John.
the podcast.
sorry, mate. I do
No,
apologise.
it's fine. It's fine. You've got the Blu-ray. You've seen it anyway, but yeah. Anyway, the lights went down.
Which
did.
light?
Favorite track from Eldorado from Fear started Eldorado.
Yeah, and it's good as well. I've listened to it again this morning. It was really good,
And
as it always is. You know.
as it always is, Craig.
Hey, I like it, so shut up.
We've covered that. The listeners have heard me talk about that for 2 episodes.
All right.
But the response at the end, the standing ovation at the end of Eldorado is
Oh,
just
yes.
phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that basically. Yeah, it was pretty special, wasn't it? That was just like they've done one song. Christ almighty, basically.
I bet it was nearly 2 minutes long, wasn't it? The old standing ovation. It went
Well,
on
at
and on,
least.
didn't
I
it?
mean, everybody stood up, didn't they?
Yeah.
the harder to live with bit at the Albert Hall is just phenomenal. I know it's picking out one bit of a epic song, but
No.
that was just incredible. That kind of rock out. It's not really a rock out, but yeah, that I kind of hairs on the back of the neck bit for me.
Yeah.
We're watching it again as well. Just
It's good, and obviously the screen behind was huge at the Albert, wasn't it? So, the effect of that, and then the Jens did a phenomenal light show in there as well, which I'm sure we'll talk about as we go through the set. But after that, they played Craig's favourite song from Fear.
Living in fear.
I might be on your team there, Craig. There's always one. There's always one slips onto the album.
Do you know what? I listened to it the other day, and it just it's like verse after verse after verse. Obviously hadn't listened to it for a very long time. It just seems to just go on and on. But I still like it. I'm not dissing it, but it is very, very. I
Gary,
would say
diss it if you
overlooked.
want. We've dissed all sorts of tracks off this album between us.
Yeah, I mean the radio edit is just so much better, in my opinion.
What, the single version where it
The
goes into the
single
live
version,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did a cheeky little thing where I used my music technology degree and cut out the live bit and just made it into a proper single edit.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed it.
It sounds
I
really good.
enjoyed it, the Albert Hall.
Just left the first verse, I would have done.
And then H had his tiara on at the end of Living in Fear. You remember that?
Yeah.
I had my tiara on as well.
You did.
Did you really?
Oh, yes, photographic evidence. I had my tiara on all the way through.
Man.
Sad little bastard that I am.
And from there we went into The Majesty of the Levers.
It was great, was it?
Absolutely epic.
Yeah.
And the screen media and the lighting for that was just absolutely out of this world. It was really, really good. And so definitely one of the standouts. In fact, isn't it such a standout that one of the actual photo for the cover of the album is taken from the Levers, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you know that, for Christ's sake?
One for the
You
quiz
can
team.
see
that
what's
one.
on the back screen.
Oh, okay.
One for the quiz
Look.
team.
Yeah, it's the running man, isn't it?
Come on, Gus.
Sorry.
Keep up.
It's
Who's
been
the
a
bass player? Who's the bass player in the band, Gary?
Trousers.
Trousers, that's him. Yeah.
Trousers.
Yeah. I, as I've said on the previous episodes, I think the screen media for the Levers and the track itself are the best things about Fear. Really, I think they go together so well.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
And I made some notes from watching the Blu-ray again. Rothers is smiling throughout the gig, really, which again doesn't do too much of. We talked about it in the Steve Rothery Band episodes because he seems a lot more relaxed when he's playing with the Rothery Band. But Rothers is smiling, and Pete kind of looks up at one point, and he's got this big grin on his face.
There is a couple of points at the gig when we'll come to in the second half. Basically, it's the band. You just think, yeah, they're having fun now.
Yeah, well, there's another standing ovation again at the end of Levers as well. And then we got White Paper.
Oh, what's
like
that
White
look
Paper.
for, Nathan? Come on, what's that look
Do you
for?
like it? I like White Paper. I
Yeah.
really like White Paper. I think it's
Okay.
a proper song. It's a proper song.
Amazing.
What do you mean it's okay, Nathan? It's a cracking song.
Mate,
Is that it?
I might defend Nathan, a fellow Page. We're not related. Well, I know. The only thing I would say is I'm not sure about the lyrics. I know I might get crucified for that. They're a bit too.
Bring the cross. Bring the cross. Get crucifying, guys.
They're a bit too. I don't know. They're a bit too. Not ambiguous. I don't know what the word is. It's a bit like Interior Lulu. I think the problem I have with that.
It's nothing like Interior Lulu.
No.
I'm sorry, Gary. I'm not having that.
Wait a minute,
I'm
there's
not having
nothing
that.
ambiguous about it. It's a series of wordplay on colours. That's the game, isn't it? That's the game. It's just different colours. Unless I misjudged it, obviously.
Sorry, Gary. God, how do you? I can't believe it. But how is it like Interior Lulu?
No, not song-wise. Just for, I don't feel it. I don't connect with it like I do with a lot of H's lyrics. That's what I was trying to put across. I know it's kind of. It might be about something, but sometimes you do need to be a little bit more. Knock me over the head.
You've got him on the ropes, John. Take him down. You've got him on the ropes.
I didn't get it when the album came out. I talked again. I'm sorry, I'm talking about things I've talked about in the last couple of episodes, but when I saw it live in Leicester, it absolutely floored me. I didn't get it, and then all of a sudden in Leicester, it just hit me. And to me, it's about the claustrophobia of a relationship and him not really understanding what she wants and her not understanding what he wants. It's a brilliant lyric. I love it. It's what H does the best for me.
I
But
should go back. I'll go back and
no, if I think that's it. That's the good thing about this band is if there are different songs that we connect with, aren't they?
yeah.
True.
And I think the screen media for this, although I've said the Levers is the best, just the padded white cell just adds to the sort of feeling of claustrophobia. It's brilliant. It's so good.
It's very clever.
Yeah. Or not, as the case may be.
No.
Maybe it's too clever for me.
No, maybe you're cleverer than me, Gary. That's the thing. That's the thing. I'm
but that-
stupid and I love it.
No, but that is the beautiful thing about the band is you're not gonna love everything, are you? You're not.
No.
It's just you're a human being.
It's just you get it on different levels, don't you?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you just so just certain songs hit certain people in certain ways.
Craig, this makes me think of Now She'll Never Know and our mate Dave Dobby.
Yeah, that's going back years and years and
Yeah.
years with .com, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that was always one of your favorite songs on .com. And David was like, no.
Oh, it's on radiation.
On
Radiation, yeah.
Radio.
It's on
Oh
radiation.
my
All
God.
right, can we
Lee,
just-
Lee,
yeah, so
off you go.
Wikipedia fail.
if you'd like to apply to be a presenter on Animal
Jesus
Fan,
H. Craigie.
Craig's just resigned on air.
To be fair, I have been up
He's
and
digging
around
now,
since
he's
5:15 this morning.
The thing is, he edits this, and I bet my life it doesn't go out that.
I'll leave it in. It's Wikipedia fail. I'll leave it in.
Wow, that's good. That's made my evening. I
Yes.
could finish here now, yeah.
Because I was just about to say because I love the way that it goes into these chains and then I would have realized, oh, hang on a minute.
Okay. Wow. Ex-quiz man. Yeah.
Yeah, presenter at planetmars.podcast.com.
Anyhow, we've gone a bit off topic. Sorry about that. And then after White Paper, we've got the New Kings. Barnes?
I always, when it comes on, I always think, like that. And within 2 minutes, I absolutely love it. I think it's that first beat. I always, you think, there's something, it falls a bit flat for me the first minute or so. And then when it gets going, I remember how good a song it is. And it sort of happens every time I see it for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, it went down really well when it got going, I thought.
Yeah.
Gary?
To me, it's Care. It's them. It's and Strange Engines. It's those long songs that don't seem long. To me, it just kind of it flows into each section. I know we talk about the cut and paste and all that kind of stuff, the jamming, but to me that works for me as just one song. It's just I think it's beautiful. And I know there's a lot of criticism about the lyrics. Maybe they're a bit kind of sick form politics, but as always, it's from the heart and it's from a good place, and he gets away with it. For me,
Well, I've got to say for listeners, Gary hasn't got the benefit, if benefit's the right word, of having heard the previous episodes where we've talked about the lyrical content of New Kings. Nath, I know we chatted about New Kings because this was the first track they put out, wasn't it?
It was.
And I remember talking to you on the phone the day it came out.
Yes, and I basically went, what the hell have they done? What are they thinking? Have they gone mad? I wasn't a fan. And then I think live it's a relatively good song. It has been a little bit overplayed in recent years for me. But it's okay. It's not the best song on the album, but it's not dreadful.
Yeah.
I think it's better than that, isn't it?
It's what?
I think it's better than Not Dreadful. It's a really good song. It just takes a couple of minutes to get going in my mind. I sort of really like it.
I have one or two issues with it, but I'm not going to repeat them because I've said it in the previous episode.
It's not the swearing issue, is it?
It is the swearing. It's just H is better than that. It's better than that. It's a shite lyric for me. But there you go. Moving on. And then they went off and Tomorrow's New Country was played over the PA. And that was the end of the first half. So we had an interval in true Royal Albert style, Barnes.
Before we forget, is now a good time to discuss the cost of the cloakroom? I don't know how much the tickets were on this one. I think was it £2 a night?
I think you'll find it wasn't as good value as €2 an item.
All right, just wondered.
I think it's more. And that
It
was
could have been,
7 years ago.
absolutely no idea, to be honest with you.
Have you been to Utrecht?
No, apparently it's good, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's amazing, mate.
Yeah.
And €2 an item for a cloakroom is a bargain, I'm telling you.
Well, yeah, I'd have my shorts on. I wouldn't need it, really. The shorts were that time of year.
Take them off, the bloody crowded part, wouldn't it?
That room is stunning at Utrecht.
Yeah, really good. We're planning to go back, Craig, aren't we?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Anyway,
Just
we're not here to
see
talk about
anybody
that.
there. Yeah. Okay.
Or cloakrooms.
If anybody knows how much the cloakroom is at the Royal Albert Hall, please can you put a message on our Facebook group and I'll pass it on to Mr. Wood himself. So we had our ice creams at half time.
And Mivies and Albatross and whatever.
Oh, very good.
Wolf nipple chips.
Get away loud.
Don't start me on Python.
And then the second half started. Somebody else is gonna have to talk about this because it was amazing. What did you think about the beginning of the second half?
Becca hell, man. Jesus.
I'll go in.
It was epic, epic, epic. Go on, keep using the epic because that's what we need. Epic.
It was
Well,
just...
I'm sorry.
Go on, Barnes,
Sorry,
you go.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, it was just brilliant, wasn't it? It's sort of and also when they came on with the orchestra, was it the first time they played this song as this? Because it took a while for it to work out what the song was. I don't know if everyone that's the plan, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's brilliant. And then the one thing I wrote down, it's a slight tangent, but I think it's worth it. Have you seen that weird? Well, let's call it that weird lady who does the review of this song on YouTube. It takes like half an hour to talk about it. The reaction video.
Is she not a classical singer or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, if you've literally, I mean, she's really good. She completely gushes all over how much she enjoys it. But what she does incredibly annoyingly is she'll run 30 seconds and then reverse it back.
Oh, yeah, she
20
reverses
seconds.
back. You've heard it about 16 times by
So
the time you
literally,
get 3
if
minutes.
you've got like 45 minutes board time, you just think, I tell you what, I'm going to sit through 45 minutes of this woman sort of. But to be fair, she analyzes it within an inch of its life. It's well worth watching if you really can't sleep or something, you know. But it's so preposterous. It's like, just leave it on for God's sake. You know?
I did stumble across that basically when I was but a YouTubing basically, and like you say, it is absolutely hilarious.
As Barnes said,
so funny.
I didn't twig. Yeah, maybe I was still eating my ice cream. I didn't twig the obviously the middle section of the strings, and I think I jaw hit the floor when it kicked in. It was just
It was brilliant because
the
simple
green
triangle on the screen as well. The green,
it was like, oh my God, it's a space.
Yeah,
it was a work of genius. The arrangement of that song to put it in the first song of the second half and just have the string section and the guy I nicknamed Mo Salah on French horn.
Sam,
yeah, good old Sam.
Sam Morris.
Sam Morris, good old Mo, yeah, because he's a dead ringer for Mo, and it just worked.
Gotta say, Mike Hunter deserves absolute kudos because he did all the orchestral arrangements. What he does is he's got to do an arrangement that doesn't make Mark Kelly redundant. So Kelly plays his normal parts, and then Mike's arrangements are on top of that, and they've got to compliment them.
And it sounded huge in the hall, though, didn't it? It sounded absolutely huge.
Yeah, I'd never thought about it before, but yeah, you're right. Who said about it? It might have been Gaz about the opening. You just don't expect it to. I know it was an interval and then a start, but you just don't expect that to kind of start a gig, and it was just genius.
Well, I think, as I said before, after Fear, I think this takes it up your level.
Yeah. I think, and I think she's right as well. Lucy always describes this as the definitive version of the song, and it sort of is, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's if you want to show anybody this is what it's about, you know, on a really good day. You know,
but I think this was the moment we were all crossing our fingers for H, wasn't it? Because
the vocal at
the end of this song is, you know, we've heard him when he's tired and tried to do it, and we've heard him when he's nailed it, and he nailed it on this night, absolutely. I think you could see him sort of, once they'd finished the song, kind of relax a little bit into the set, because that's the moment that he knows he's got to do it. And from there, I was
going to mention that basically. You could see him just thinking, we've done Fear, we got that out of the way, and now we've done the space, and it was like, Aaron, relax.
And then on to Afraid of Sunlight.
One of my favorite
Classic.
songs of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you say about that song? That hasn't already been
Not a
said.
great deal. No, it's just
I mean, in some ways, it's like an anticlimax after the space. I thought the space was so good, just like suddenly went down to 99% out of 100 instead of full 100. But do you know what I mean? It's just it was like the space was that good. I think that's.
I'd have to say I don't have an issue with anything they played in the second half. Even there's a track on there that I've said on this podcast is played too much, but even that worked in the context of this set. But yeah,
I've got one I'm not so sure about, John. So
Sorry?
I'll maybe save it till I've got one I'm not less sure about. I'll tell you when it comes on, though, shall I?
Yeah. I think I know what it is, Barnes, but that's probably the one that's mine and my missus' favourite song. So, it's our song. So I'll let you say it now. So after Afraid of Sunlight, we got Craig's favourite, The Great Escape,
My favorite song of all time.
and the fallback track whenever they had a breakdown or whatever. The track that they've only put 475 versions out of at the moment.
you've been
Easter.
counting.
I think it's a really great version of Easter actually, because Emma Howland on the flute introduces it. It actually sounds quite folky, that first section. So yes, we've heard it a lot, but it wasn't a fresh take on it, but it sounded fresher than just them doing it on their own.
I agree with Nathan. Having the flute at the start gave it that little bit of an edge, didn't it?
But I think, of all the songs that they needed to play in that place, that was got to be on the list, hasn't it? That
Yeah, I agree.
For Rothers to do that solo in that room, just got to happen.
Yeah,
got to happen.
Definitely.
But I think, again, after each of these songs, there was standing ovations. And if you play the live album, you'll see that, the song will be like 6 or 7 minutes or whatever, but all the tracks are only 10 minutes long with all the crowd going crazy afterwards.
Yeah. And then we got Go. And I just want to talk about the screen media before I go to Gaz, who can talk about what we were going to talk about a minute ago. But the screen media is really simple for Go to start with, isn't it? It's the red and the green lights on the screen.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Which
also,
worked a treat, didn't it?
Jens does a fantastic effect with just red and green spots all over the room, doesn't he, at the beginning?
But they were lasers, weren't they? Am I right in saying?
Maybe.
Yes. I think they had lasers. I think it was all lasers, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think.
But they are right. They're all over the dome of the Royal Albert Hall, because so he does that to start with, and then I'll hand over to Mr. Uzzell to tell us what he was going to say to us about 10 minutes ago.
Sorry, basically it was the finger lights, and if you watch, because that's the clip that's been put on YouTube, and obviously the go clip comes up, and it's a really good clip that shows up the recording of the show from Tim Sidwell, who is just an absolute god of a filmmaker. And I believe tonight he's at the Hammersmith Odeon doing Alice Cooper.
He is,
Yeah.
Just to go back a step, so the story behind that is Tony Firminger used to organise a Facebook group, which was, I can't remember, something about Surprise the Band, and that was for the Leicester conventions. And
it was, yes.
The convention before this, he had the idea of the finger lights, and the idea was that everyone in the crowd would wear these cheap finger lights, just go on the end of your finger. And at the point where H sings "Wide Awake on the Edge of the World," we would all turn these finger lights on, and they would, obviously illuminate. And the band had seen that in Leicester and wanted to recreate that in the Royal Albert Hall. So as we went into the Royal Albert Hall, you were given a little plastic bag with instructions as to when to turn your lights on. And I have to say, I don't remember seeing anybody turn them on before they should.
No, I don't think so.
They behave themselves.
There is one on the Blu-ray, on the DVD, if you watch it, there's one that comes flying down from a balcony there. Somebody's lobbed it. But...
Was that Lucy able for someone?
That's the really cool thing. If you watch that clip, and just before, like John says, you can actually, from that shot of from the back of the Albert Hall, you can see everybody that are sat on their hands, just waiting for that cue moment. And the wide awake comes out, everybody's hands just shoot up, and it works. Just even though the band knew what it was going to happen, but I'm sure they didn't know that it would work on that grand scale. Just fabulous.
I seem to remember there's another shot of Pete just looking up and grinning again in there as when the lights
That's the one that I was going to come to. And there's also a shot that Tim Sidwell got of one of the camera guys from the back of the stage of H looking out, and you see you all know the shot I'm talking about, basically.
Yeah.
You know, so of him having the biggest cheesy grin on his face a split second after the finger lights have gone up, and that just sums it up for me, and it just works.
Well, I
And
think doesn't H roll out his Dave Gilmour story after that?
Yeah.
And he had all sorts going on, but it wasn't like this.
Yeah.
I think that's
And yeah, we've seen Gilmore there, and it wasn't like that.
No.
No, the lasers. I mean, when I buy another version of a deluxe edition and it comes through the door, and my wife kind of rolls her eyes. I'm like, well, they got lasers to pay for now.
That's it.
They're big
Yeah.
time again.
Yeah.
I think what's also quite telling about Go is it's the only song from when they first played with In Praise of Folly at the conventions that's actually carried over into this set.
Yeah.
And my kind of fear going into it was, are we just going to hear all those songs that are already rehearsed, and to actually get basically other than Go, every song is a new arrangement with them was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, Man of a Thousand Faces.
I'm not a fan of this one. I've never got it.
I didn't think it'd be this track, you'd say.
No, I don't dislike it. I've never got what it's about. I just think, what's all this about?
He
You know what I
doesn't
mean? I
know
think
what
one
it's
of these,
about.
at some
It's the
point,
Helmer
all-
lyric, and he's admitted that he doesn't know what it's about.
But it's
There you go.
they play it a lot, and it's obviously liked by a lot of people, by the band and everything. They play it a lot, but for me, it's like a B-side, isn't it? You know, can I say that? Is that it?
I've always liked it. I've
Get
always
it?
liked
Really?
Get
I
it?
don't, yeah, I just don't get it. I just don't,
Are we getting you
honestly don't
back
get
on to review TSE?
it. Not now.
Well,
I love it. I think it's probably one of my favorite songs.
Is it?
yeah,
Yeah,
me
it's
too.
definitely,
Live,
yeah.
it's brilliant. Yeah.
And it
Where
just
am I going wrong, guys? What am I doing wrong? I
You
just don't get
can't
it.
quite hear it from the bar, Barnes. Come out the bar. Come into the venue. It sounds better.
See,
It sounds
I
better.
didn't realise that was all about. Yeah, it would sound like.
Waiting to happen. That's mine, and that's Leslie and my song. So
Is it? I thought it was
Yeah.
the best song of the night, John. I
Did
honestly
you?
did think it was the best. Yeah, and I think the bit where he goes, I mean, it's sort of, in my mind obvious why they chose it, but when H goes, "I've been waiting for this all my life." When he sings that, he drags that out literally. That's about 4 times longer than it is. Really cleverly drags it out just to punctuate that sound. And I thought it was brilliant. It was like certainly one of, if not the highlights of the night. There.
No, I never thought about it like that. Yeah, brilliant point.
Yeah, it's a really good delivery of it. If you get a chance to listen, well, I'm sure you will get a chance to listen to it again, obviously. But
Yeah.
you know.
Wasn't it? What did Nate kind of decide? He didn't know why, but it was one of those songs they just kind of needed to play in that space.
Yeah.
I think it was that lyric. I think it was that lyric. You know, it just in my mind anyway. It just sort of came across absolutely perfectly.
kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
I was watching
Yeah.
it today, rewatching it today, and Rothers is playing I don't know what guitar it is. It's not not his normal guitar at all on that.
What the banjo was it?
The guitar nerds will probably know straight away, but I'm not one of them. So, but yeah, no, it went really well. Went down really well, and then we got Neverland.
It was nice to hear it because it's one of those songs that rarely gets an outing.
Barnes?
Literally, I'm not even taking the mickey now. I'm honestly saying this. And there was a phase when he got played all the time, but I don't think they overplayed at all. Maybe for the last 10 years, it's not get played that often. For the last 10 years,
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
Yes.
No, I'll tell you what. I'm going to do some fact checking. I think it's sort of making this up. I know when it first came out, and maybe for the first, was it 20 years ago now? Maybe for the first half of that time, it was played a lot, but certainly for the last 10 years, it's
Nathan,
really gets an outing.
Nathan, am I wrong?
I think we need to
No.
fact check this.
No. You are not wrong. It has been played a hell of a lot.
Really? Oh, it's a good song. I like it anyway. I'm
I
not
like it as well.
Yeah.
It's a great song. It's just played a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
So I've seen Marillion approximately of the 130-ish times, and they've played it 43 times. So that's what, one in every three-ish gigs.
Well, I've seen
Like
them,
that, yeah,
Nathan,
100%.
131 times. I've only heard it twice.
All right, boys, it's not top trumps. Not top trump. That's the second time I've had to say it's not top trumps this month.
Super Trump. Really.
My kind of abiding memory in Neverland was because they had the fog. Basically, if you were in the front
Yeah.
couple of rows, you couldn't actually really see the stage just over the wall of fog over the top of your heads.
Didn't Pete have a problem finding his bass
His
pedals?
pedals, yeah,
It,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely overcooked it on the dry ice. There's sort of industrial portions, wasn't it?
And then the big finish, last song of the night was Revisiting One Tonight from the Levers, which I thought worked really well at the end.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Also, I think they oversubscribed on the confetti for that as well, didn't they? It was like a double dose of that. There's so much of it in the air when it was coming down, all on the
Well,
band.
they had to pay so much to get it done. They were just
Well, if you
going out for
listen
leather.
to one of the previous episodes, in fact, last week's episode, Lucy will tell you how much it cost to sweep that up.
All right, very good, very good.
And that's why your web subscription's gone up. No, no, joking.
I renewed last week, actually. It's still tenner. I can believe it.
Yeah, tenner for two
Yeah.
magazines.
Oh, yeah, it's 2 magazines now.
Don't miss your CD. If
I
you've not
know.
renewed, by the time this goes out, it's probably too late.
I haven't since 92. I know there's people longer, but you know.
Well, one of the presenters of this podcast isn't a member, but it's not me.
I know.
Ex presenter, I think is the technical term.
Oh, sorry, yeah, he's just resigned on this episode.
Yeah, email presenter at Planet Mars and Back podcast.
Favoritealbums.com. Anyhow, overriding thoughts of the night.
Well, if I can dive in, John. After
Yeah.
there, we took the red carpet down to the Hoop and Toy pub,
Okay.
and we
What?
kept going down there.
Hoop and Toy. Right.
Yeah, it's a pub down at South Kensington. We took the white, and so we had the red carpet there, and we sort of dancing down the street there, and then we took it to some 24-hour cafe in Fulham before we went to bed. So the carpet got to bed about, I don't know, 3-4 a.m. in the morning by the time we'd done.
Wow. It had a good night, the carpet, didn't it?
Well, yeah, it was a bit stained after. We'd have to replace it, I'm afraid. Might get another one for our final PZ, I think.
Got to be done.
And what do you think about? So the whole thing was captured by Tim Sidwell and his fantastic team on a Blu-ray that was premiered at the cinema in March 2018.
I forgot about that. Is that the one that we saw at? That's not the one we saw at Wolverhampton, is it?
No, that was
It was on at about 5 or 6 cinemas up and down the
that's
country.
right.
I went to Leeds to see it.
Yeah, we saw it in London at the Everyman, wasn't it? I think the band were there as well. Actually, there was only probably
at London, yeah. But
it weren't a big theatre. There's probably 50 in there. No, they did. Was it Milton Keynes? No, it was in London, wasn't it? It was in London. It was
about 6 cities across the country.
Yeah, wasn't Milton Keynes one of them?
It might have been. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember going to Milton Keynes, and I think the band were on. Didn't they come on stage and do a little presentation of these things? And then whatever they were presenting, they.
I think the one you're talking about, Gary, is
you're talking about the light at Wolverhampton.
John's right. It was the light at Wolverhampton. Yes.
No, I can interject. I know it was because I was there. It was actually what's the is it the season's outer season 3-parter, 3 nights at the what they call it. It was 2 parts of that, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't Milton Keynes, and it was red hot. It was like the hottest day of the summer, and we all sat inside. Do you remember? It was like 30 odd degrees. We all sat inside a dark cinema all Sunday afternoon watching this 3 hours worth of a Marillion gig. I think it was after season, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Anyhow, I'm talking about All One Tonight. So, yeah, I saw this in Leeds at the cinema, and it was, as the DVD, there was actually an interval again. So, first part of Fear was on, and then we all got our ice creams and came back and watched the second half. And it was good.
Yeah.
Just as good seeing it in the cinema, I have to say. All of
it was good.
Fans were there.
Yeah.
Good idea. Good idea.
Did you all clap along at certain points as well
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
cinema?
yeah. There's a really good atmosphere. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And until recently, this was my favorite Marillion Blu-ray, but that's changed.
I think you can promote it back up again, John. Promote it back
Can
to
I?
the top, I think.
Do you
Yeah,
think
put it back to the top. Yeah, I think so. It's brilliant, wasn't it? It was such a good day.
PZ Part One's better than this now?
Yeah.
It's still my favorite one.
It
But
would be
anyway,
my. Sorry,
But I
John.
think
Yeah.
the package is great because the extras are fantastic on it. You know, the documentary on it's really, really good. The fact that you've got like the screen media and stuff on it, it's well
Yeah.
worth getting
yeah,
if you
yeah,
haven't got it.
definitely. It's a great package. Gary?
Sorry, I was just going to mention H's gorilla coat again. That that that's what just slightly moves the old Peasy down a bit. The coat. It's
Well,
just
he must have been bloody warm, that's all. It's his own fault for shopping at
yeah.
Chelsea Girl, however he bought it.
But you know, that's just fashion. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the music, is it? So
Yeah,
you
I
know,
know.
what do we know?
Worked for Roxy Music, didn't it?
Yeah.
So this has been released in a one or two formats. Nathan's waving his what you got? Your four CD
Yeah, the
book?
4 CD,
I've got it. Well,
Blu-ray, whatever else. Yeah,
Yeah, so Racket put it out
the 2
initially.
CD, 2 Blu-ray.
Yeah, 2 CD, 2 Blu-ray with a lovely photo book with great photos in.
Kudos to Anne Marie for the
Yeah,
photos.
majority of she did the sleeve, didn't she? And a majority of photos in it, I think.
Yeah, because she's a genius.
I saw her actually. I didn't speak to her. I don't know her, but she was at Crowded House in Brighton on last week. So she
Was
was
she?
out the front taking
Yeah.
photos. Yeah,
She was busy.
Oh.
She was at Dream Theatre last night.
getting around.
Yeah. She's very good at what she does.
She is very good.
Yeah, she's
I mean, the image on the sleeve of the thing is just brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does that count, John? Download it
What
onto
is
the
it?
iPhone. It's on
You
the
got it on an
iPhone.
iPhone.
Yeah, does that count?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's always with me. Always in my pocket.
And then it did come out on Racket Racket as a 2 CD, didn't it?
Yes.
I've got it somewhere. Yeah, it came out on Racket as a 2 CD in a jewel case.
And it
What
came
about
out on
the
a 2
Atmos mix,
CD
John? Have
in
we got an
Adele
Atmos
with
mix?
No.
a 2 CD in
then-
Adele in a digi.
Yeah, Dell then released in a
Digi-
digipack.
Was it digipack? Which digi
Digipack.
version
It's
is
not a
it?
book. It's not a
Get your,
digibook.
get your digi right.
Yeah, get the right format. Come on, it's a digipack, which isn't open, but there you go.
Same line, mine isn't open either.
And obviously, there's the standard 2 Blu-ray and 2 DVD.
Is there something about your favourite slot now?
I think it's time for my favourite slot, boys.
Yes.
And I think
Time to slide into
Gary's
your
gonna
favourite
play as
slot.
well. Gary's gonna play. Come on, Gary, what you got?
I have got the original. Well, I was just looking at it because I haven't opened it. It's all sealed up. I reckon they was all on sale at the Racket. I don't know how long ago, but it was dirt cheap. It was like 14 quid or something.
Was it? Wow.
Something, yeah. And I thought, you know what, I'm having that. But
Yeah.
I think there's a little the corner's a little bit
Dinged.
dinged. So maybe
All right.
that's why. But yeah, it looks beautiful. I don't really want to open it, to be honest.
Well, I've got the black vinyl, the 4 CD,
Yeah, this is
4
black.
4-disc black vinyl, and then a 4-disc crystal clear vinyl, which came out last year for German Record Store Day. They ended up releasing it on Amazon as well, which is really nice. So they're both 180 grams. So these fairly hefty things, aren't they?
What's the I'm gonna open it later. What's the pressing like, John, for the black
Nice.
vinyl?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Adele's sometimes a bit hit and miss, but this is really nice.
Nice, cool.
Really quiet as well. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I shall open it.
And did you say you got Living in Fear vinyl single as well?
Yeah, it's all the stuff that I've got on CD as well. So that's sealed up as well. So
That's good.
I
I
mean,
haven't
I
got that. I haven't got that
I live
at
in
all.
a house where I should be. I'll speak quietly. Where the wife's not a fan, so it's I pick and choose my moments. I play the stuff.
Yeah. No, it's good. So good formats. I think this is a big seller for them, isn't it? It must be. I mean, most people listening to this will have got a version of this whether it's the Blu-ray or the DVD or the download or whatever. It's got to be one of the late period best-selling live albums.
And also, it's the one that keeps popping up on Sky Cinema as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
second half of the gig. Yeah,
It's not on. I know we're all physical media guys, well, Barnes, but
Barnes
it's not on. It's not on my Spotify.
is it not?
No, I don't think so.
All
It's on
right.
Amazon Music, yeah.
It's definitely not on Tidal, which is the platform I choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
Maybe
Tidal's high res though, isn't it?
It is on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tidal's high res, Garrett, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So maybe I'm not looking in the right places. But
Well, no, but I don't know why it's not there. But somebody on an unrelated note, somebody said that TSE's disappeared from streaming
it
sites.
has, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the remix, isn't it?
Lucy pulled the stuff in August, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely it is on Spotify, as Craig says. So, but yes, so all in all, it was a rather good evening, wasn't it?
It'll do, won't it?
Barnes?
Just another point, just to extend the weekend a bit longer.
Yeah.
On the following day, we went to see Pink Floyd at the exhibition at where was it, the V&A?
Oh yeah, that was on the Victorian
went,
Albert
yeah.
at the time,
We
wasn't
went.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, just as a friendly reminder. That
Their
was just
mortal
summed up.
remains.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that, Barnes?
Well, I did enjoy it. I went twice in the end. On the time we went on the Saturday, it was rammed. So it was so packed. I went again afterwards, when on like a Tuesday afternoon or something like that, and I did enjoy it. But it was very, very busy indeed.
The night I went, but I went in the morning, but I had another gig in the evening, so we went to see the Pink Floyd thing at the V&A, and you put your headphones on and you move from section to section, and then coming out of that, I was completely blown away because as you remember, you go into the little room and they literally play about an hour's worth of music, live music, which they finish up with the stuff from Live 8. Correct me if I'm
That's
wrong.
right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I come out of that, and then I was going over to another gig, and it just happened to be Kiss at the O2.
But yeah, it was a fantastic exhibition, wasn't
It was
it?
I
brilliant.
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Just,
interactive, and yeah.
It was
it just polished the weekend off nicely as well, didn't it?
It was
For
just
us
to see
anyway.
the-
It was just yeah.
It was just to see that mixing desk from Abbey Road, literally as you walk in. You know how they got that in there. It's just beyond me.
I've got a mini thought, almost like a mini discussion if we've got time. And I don't know because they went to the Royal Albert Hall again.
Yeah, twice. Yeah.
Yeah, twice again. In a weird way, it sort of would have been. Much as I enjoyed them 2 nights, it would have been sort of nicer to leave it at one. I think. Do you know what I mean? In a sentimental sort of way.
I say we didn't go to the other two.
I didn't go.
Oh, didn't you?
Go the other
All
way.
right.
I got a slight because didn't they play before they did the other two Albert Halls? They played the London Palladium, didn't they?
Yeah, about 10 days after this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the 7th of November.
Yeah,
Spot-
not
spot
long
on.
after this. Yeah.
And I actually, in a bizarre sort of way, I probably enjoyed the Palladium show more than I enjoyed the Royal Albert Hall show, mainly because there was less pressure on the band. I don't know if anybody would agree with me on that. Basically, you know, so at the Palladium.
Nate?
I completely agree. They were so much more relaxed at the kind of 2 gigs after the Albert Hall in the UK. So we had the gig at the Palladium where they were really good, and then Manchester,
which we did go to. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were really good. They were really relaxed. They still did 1, 2, 3. They still did half a Fear, but effectively only Afraid of Sunlight out of the other tracks kind of made it to the set list. So otherwise, it was a completely different set list.
Yeah,
a fortnight or so later.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the Palladium gig. It was such you could see that they'd done the Albert Hall and they got that out of the way, and they could go right. That's it. We're gonna have some fun now. Basically, you know, the pressure's off.
But I think that also carried over into the tour in the UK the following April, where they were playing slightly bigger venues than they had on the initial Fear tour. So we had places like York Barbican, Birmingham Symphony Hall,
Barnsley Civic.
and they
Sage.
seem to really enjoy
Age again said,
themselves.
yeah.
They played some songs they haven't usually played. So the Albert Hall, I think, seemed to kick them off on another set of kind of touring
Yeah.
where they really enjoyed themselves.
I think it's an important album for them. It, it's kind of took them to another level. I don't want to repeat what we've said in the previous episodes, but
Well, they sorted out the sales, didn't they? So it got to number two, didn't it, in the chart? So that was a big deal at the time, I think.
yeah,
Well, it was, yeah, for us
I think
anyway.
it's, it's them refining the business model even further. And, it works really well now. We know what they're like now, and this is just them sort of on the road to an hour before it's dark, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also the fact that they didn't feel the need to go back to any of the pre-H catalog with like the Fish era material. They didn't have that any kind of pressure on them for what they actually wanted to play, at the Royal Albert Hall or on the subsequent most of the tour.
And I didn't see any negativity online about that either, did you?
There wasn't a kick-off on it, no.
No, which is good.
And even at the next Albert Hall gigs, they still haven't gone back to the Fish era. That they have stayed with entirely H era set lists.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
You know what we haven't done?
No, tell me.
We haven't done the Facebook comments.
Facebook.
Facebook?
Aye, well, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? When did we ask?
Yeah, end of
It was
September.
on the 28th of September. We asked you out there in Listerland what your memories of this historic evening were. And we got lots of replies.
We did.
I want to give a special mention to Julian Peace. Hiya, Julian. Thanks for listening. His only memory is missing out on the ticket because I had a doctor's appointment. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
And then on a similar note, Mark Kennedy puts, being glad when it was over. The hype in the last week before the show was just getting to stupid levels. On the night of the show, I felt pretty much the same as H. Once they nailed the space, I think we all relaxed a bit and knew it was going to be awesome. It was a privilege to sit in our box with my missus, Lucy, George, Alan, Michael and Kate and everyone else and crack open the champers. Was also great not being recognised by some of my closest friends as I was suited and booted. Very good.
What's it like? Helena, our gorgeous good friend. It was the gig of my life. I've never felt anything like it before or since that night watching a gig. Hard to put into words, and I don't know if I'm qualified enough to say, but I felt so proud of the band that night. It was such a big deal to see my favourite band in that venue and for the collectivity, that's right, as their first time playing there. So much pride, and I was covered in goosebumps so many times. Just really rooting for them to nail it, and they did. I cried, felt emotion from and for them. I doubt I will ever encounter that feeling and those emotions again at a gig ever. It was special.
It certainly was. And on a similar note, Alison Higgins says, this was my first Marillion gig after a hiatus of many years. I was still a huge fan, just didn't do gigs. And I had a hiatus while I had my children and got my confidence back up to go to gigs again. What a gig to come back to. I recall having to just keep trying online for tickets, and eventually, after 30 plus minutes of trying, two were released. I cried my eyes out to the space, and yes, I was completely sucked back into gigging. I haven't looked back since, and I don't intend to either.
Yeah. Andy Bliss, friend of the pod, a bit too much fear, but a cracking gig night out nonetheless. And Felicity followed that, saying she agreed with him. If the set list had been more varied, would probably have been in our top 10 gigs of all time, but it probably doesn't even make our top 10 Marillion gigs.
Yeah. Darren knew it. Very long message as usual from Darren. Lots of memories, but he's got really fond memories of this gig. meeting up with a long-time school friend who works at the RCA next to the Royal Albert Hall, and his brother and his wife. It was also great to meet up with many friends in the local London pubs, some in ball gowns, some even with a tux on, boom, boom. And of course, fond memories of some friends who are no longer with us.
Roger Harvey, that standing ovation after El Dorado will live with me forever.
Yeah, special. Gary Robner, a bucket list gig ticked. The best Marillion gig, in my opinion, the Hall of Fear, which I love, and Rother's solo on Easter. Just wow. The crowd, the finger-light moments, the emotion, the band on fire. It was a night I'll never forget, and I do watch it at least twice a week and still get goosebumps. Don't think it will ever be beaten.
Tracy Kirridge had fab seats in one of the best gigs she's ever been to. The atmosphere was electric on and off stage. One never to forget. Magical.
David Pigford, my memories are a little bit hazy, having enjoyed the company of the Marillion family with mucho gusto throughout the day. Thank goodness for Tim Sidwell towards infinity and that amazing concert video for filling in some gaps for me.
Sue Beasy, great day out, including a tour behind the scenes of the Royal Albert Hall, enabling us to hear a good bit of the sound check. Our lot got 4 seats downstairs and 2 up in the gods. We sat in the gods for the first half and then downstairs for the second half. I remember feeling like I was just bursting with pride at being a fan of this incredible band playing at this iconic venue, right where they belonged. Just a fantastic experience overall, perfect sound, perfect setlist.
Russ Parker said it was a wonderful occasion. It felt like all those years of hard work playing little clubs and rebuilding a sizable audience culminated in this gig. There were tears of pride everywhere, and I had a rainy face throughout the Great Escape. A wonderful evening.
Yeah. Phil Davies, fantastic occasion. Love seeing the boys up there in lights. I way prefer a sweaty night in the tent at Port Zealand, and you can keep the orchestra.
Paul C. Moore. Oh, Paul. Paul C. Moore. Our view was pretty much the view in the cover picture, except it was a bit lower as we were in the grand tier. I was there with my wife Denise and our daughter and John Hiscock, and with it being such a special event, we decided to splash out and partake of the inbox catering. An amazing evening, a great view and great sound.
And they were in debt for years afterwards at the price of the bar
Still paying
tab.
for it, Paul. Yeah, I'm
Still
not.
paying for it. James Levy, I recognise that name from somewhere. Is it ringing any bells? Yeah. It was a great day. The palpable expectations in the pubs beforehand and everyone wanting it to be a success. Saw Ian outside as I was walking to the entrance and wishing him a great gig. Lucky to be on the 9th row and will never forget the noise as the band hit the stage. Really enjoyed the gig, and the All One Tonight release is one of the best by any band. It is cool.
Steve Matthews, the collective gasps when we realised the space was being played. Perfect track in a perfect venue at the perfect time. Mick Stead also says, I met Rothers and Mark before the gig. You definitely did, Mick, because you're in the documentary, aren't you, mate? Nice to hear from you.
Yes, he is. Kieran Buxton. Helena and I were the closest people to the stage, and it was brilliant. Such a massive build-up with the whole playing Albert Hall for the first time, and for me, it didn't disappoint. I enjoyed Fear, even if I would have preferred not to have it played in full, although I understand why it was done. The second set, though, was beautiful. Now, when they return and do all of Brave, I'm up for that. Join the party.
Yeah. Join Craig's campaign. Ali Brew. Hi, Ali. Being unable to get to the show, I was stuck on a ship in Gibraltar until early that evening. Ooh, frowny face. Oh, dear.
Yeah, I don't think he could just hop over from Gibraltar to London in a couple of hours, bless him.
No. But some great memories there, folks. And thanks, as always, for your comments. If you're not on our Facebook group, please join Planet Marzipan and Marillion Podcast Facebook group. Not the page, it's the group, please. That's where all the discussions are. But we love to hear from you, and we will trail on there what we're going to be reviewing in the not too distant future.
Yeah, spoiler alert. It might be a new remix album.
Couldn't possibly say.
Couldn't possibly
Anyway.
comment.
Let's hand over back to Craig and Mezza. Well, look, boys.
Yep.
Anything else on
Excellent.
R1 tonight?
Just a fabulous night out at the Albert Hall, which is still one of my favourite venues. So I've been lucky enough to see so many good gigs there, as you lads have probably as well. So
I think I speak for a lot of fans when I say this. I left feeling an immense sense of pride in going. Actually, they've been there, they've nailed it.
exactly. Yeah.
We can all go away and say we've seen Marillion play pretty much a perfect gig at the Albert Hall.
And also, who else at the Albert Hall has actually done such a good light show and such a good stage setup for it? Really, for not saying that Marillion are on a tight budget or anything like that. No, they're not. But looking at even if you look at Dave Gilmore's just played like however many nights in it, and there's been lots of bootlegs, lots of bootlegs around.
Yeah.
Of his stage setup and his light show, and that is piss poor compared to what this was. It was nothing compared to what this was. And there's people going to me, yes, we all love Gilmore. We absolutely, he is the god.
Well,
But
is that Gilmore's lawyers? Sorry. Craig, there's a call for you.
Oh, it's all right. Me and Jens will take them on. But no, it's stunning, and for what we got, it couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
I think also many people would say it's their favourite gig ever of any band they've ever seen. A lot of our friends would say that. It's definitely up there. Whether it's the most favourite, I don't think what to say, isn't it? But it's certainly up there, isn't it? One of the most memorable, certainly.
It's in my top 5 gigs ever, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, as Nathan said, it's kind of sometimes I hate that family thing that everyone mentions, but it was that coalescence of everyone. Well, not everyone was there, but we were all kind of there, and they were playing the Albert Hall, and it was amazing, and it was just and it was just pride, really. And it's weird for my friends to really get that, because I'm so into it. But you were just proud of them.
Couldn't agree more.
Definitely.
Couldn't agree more.
Barnes?
One minor thing, I don't think that we should pass the night by without reminding Graham Smith that he wasn't there as well for some crazy reason. Was he on holiday or something?
Wasn't he?
Remember?
Yeah.
He got some terrible excuse why he wasn't there. Yeah. Big shout out to him.
Well, the rest of us were proud. Graham just was.
Exactly. Not a real fan, I don't think.
Smithy, I'd just like to remind you who brought that up. That was Barnes, no one else. All right. Anyway, on that bombshell, it just remains for us to say thank you to Nathan Page.
No.
Thank you, Gary Uzzell.
Hi, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary Page.
A joy as always. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. And thank you, Mr. Barnsley Wood.
Thanks, guys.
It's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Take care.
And stay.
Yay!
Thanks for listening to Planet Marzipan Podcast. Please like and subscribe from whichever platform you get your podcasts from. You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com and check out marillion.com, fishmusic.scot or fishmusic.eu